Hi, my name is Roshan Krishnan and I'm the product manager at Kirusa for enterprise products. Today we will talk about the Kirusa's mobile marketing product suite and the enterprise suite that is targeted at enterprises and customers who want to integrate mobile marketing, traditional marketing with mobiles and outreach campaigns to reach to their target audience and customers. So the product that we have, the product suite is called Connect, which is an end-to-end integrated mobile marketing suite designed to communicate, engage, and interact with your target audience over any mobile phones. So this is a product suite, and under the product suite, we have three different products, which covers the entire gamut of inbound and outbound mobile marketing services. The first one is called the Connect Emissary. Emissary is a complete outbound marketing solution for enterprises, and this includes solutions such as outbound calls, SMS, and call-based surveys and polls, and even voice SMS. Today's session will focus only on Emissary, and we'll go through a product demo of the capabilities of Emissary and how it works. The other two products of the suite are uh, Snapcall. Snapcall is an inbound marketing toolkit designed to collect user feedback. Services include Flash Call, and there are multiple applications of Flash Call, voice and dial, and IVR-based surveys and polls. And the last product that we have under the Connect suite is Smart Push. And Smart Push is an interactive push message-based outbound marketing tool, which can be used to run interactive campaigns, subscription campaigns, obtain user feedback, and similar other outbound campaigns. Okay. So like I said, today we'll talk about Connect Emissary, which is our outbound marketing product, and we will have a quick demo of how the system works. The Connect product is web-based, so any customer, any enterprise, or any user can just click enter enterprise.kirusa.com into the browser window, and this particular login screen should open up. If you have the login and password, which you would get once you sign up with us, you can use that to log in. Once you log in as a normal user who wants to run campaigns and set up campaigns and view the campaign reports, this is the screen that you would see. The screen, if I could describe it quickly, has three tabs: campaign, opt-out, list, and reports. And initially, when you log in for the first time, you will not see any campaigns, obviously, because you haven't created any campaigns. What you can do is to click on this green button here to create a campaign. So I've clicked on that. Now, the campaign creation process is extremely simple. It takes you through a few questions. Now, the questions ask, first of all, what kind of campaign do you want to run? Is it a pure OBD campaign, which means a campaign which makes outbound calls to a list of MSISTNs, so a list of phone numbers? The other one is OBD, SMS when OBD fails. In this case, you mix both OBD and SMS, and the SMS is sent out to the end user in case the OBD fails, because let's say the customer or the user fails to pick up the phone, or his phone is busy. In those cases, we have the option of sending an SMS so that the campaign information or campaign message, or the message that the campaign wants to convey to its users, gets sent to the users either via a call or via an SMS. We also support SMS only campaigns. So if you want to do an SMS blast kind of a campaign, our platform does support that. And finally, something which is extremely interesting is polls and surveys over outbound call. In this case, that's the final one. In this case, calls are made out to a list of phone numbers, and it allows the enterprise or enterprise customers to set up surveys and polls with a bunch of questions followed by options, which the user who receives the call can then press the button on his phone to answer the survey questions or the survey poll. So it's extremely useful if you want to get feedback about your product, if you want to, let's say, if you want to get information about government services and want to see what the effectiveness of a particular government program is. So the users are many, and the interesting part is you are making the call out to the user and kind of getting him to provide you the feedback. So today I'll show you a simple campaign OBD and SMS when OBD fails. You click on next, you give it a campaign name, so I shall give it a name. Right, so the campaign name has to be unique. You can provide any name as long as it's unique in our system, and it is useful to identify the campaign in the reports tab. Next, you need to choose a file. This file is a text file with a list of phone numbers to which the campaign message has to be sent. So I already have a file created. So this particular file, it's a simple text file which has a bunch of numbers in it, separated by a new line. So you provide this number list and you upload it. The next option is how many OBDs do you want to support. I have the option of 1, 2, or 3. What this means is in case a particular OBD fails to a particular phone number, our system will automatically retry after some time. This is extremely useful in cases where a particular number was busy, phone or not reachable, or did not answer the first time. You can retry a couple of times to ensure that the call goes through. For the purpose of the demo, I'll just set it as 1. The next option is DND list. Most operator carriers have a list of DND numbers, and promotional messages are not supposed to be sent to those numbers. We provide the option where you could apply it or you could override it. And this completely depends on the permissions given by the super admin to this particular enterprise user. So in our case, we have the permission to apply or ignore the DND. The checkbox means that we will apply the DND. The other option is to play to play the opt-out audio. It asks the user whether he wants to stop receiving such messages from this particular campaign. And if the user says yes, then that particular phone number is added to what is called the blacklisted numbers, which is separate from a DND list. DND is carrier wide, whereas a blacklist is only for a campaign specific list of numbers. In addition, we also have the option of overriding blacklist. In certain cases, campaigns would want to ignore the blacklist and send out the messages to those users as well. And so we have the option here. This is provided purely as a option for enterprise customers to decide how they want to run the campaign and purely control who receives their messages. And the last option here is to override blackout period. Most carriers will have a blackout period during which such kind of outbound calls are not supposed to be sent out. In certain cases, carrier would give you permission if it's a public service announcement, for example. The carriers might allow you to override the blackout, and then this option becomes available. And in the current case, we will not apply the override blackout option. Right. The next section is scheduling. How often should you run it? In this particular user cannot set up recurring campaigns. You can only set up once. What he could do is he could run the campaign immediately, or he could schedule it to run at a different time. Right. So for now, let's mark it immediately and go to next. In this particular section, we configure the campaign message and configure the OBD caller ID that the user would see on his phone when the call starts ringing. we have a bunch of numbers that's available to us, which has been assigned to this particular enterprise user, which is the ENT1 user. This user has the option of choosing any one of this for as the caller ID for the outbound calls. If carrier supports sender mask, then we allow sender mask as well. Since we had chosen OBD and SMS when OBD fails, it'll also ask you to fill in the SMS text. Right. So I'm filling some information here so that, but this could be really any information up to 160 characters, which is standard SMS size limit. Next comes the audio content that needs to be played for the user when he receives the call. We support multiple languages. The default is English, but the other languages are configurable. Depends on the carrier and the country we are in. For now, I'll just choose default English, and I have an audio file, which can be WAV file or MP3 files. And you just have to select, and it gets uploaded once I click next. Right. If you want to have multiple languages, you could say select other languages, and then choose the appropriate audio file for it. In my case, I just have one audio file for the default language. What happens if you support multiple languages is when the call is placed and the caller receives the call, so the user receives the call, he gets the option of choosing the language he wants to hear the message in. And once he chooses that option, the appropriate audio file with the message is played to the user. This is extremely useful in areas or countries or geographies where there are multiple languages spoken, and you allow the user to choose the language he's most comfortable in. Right, and once you click next, sorry, we'll just remove that. Okay. Once you click next, you can see the campaign summary. Just verify that whatever we have set is what you want in your for your campaign, and you can click on submit. Right. So what happens right now? You'll see that the audio file is getting uploaded. Once the file uploads successfully, your return taken back to the campaign homepage. And if it is immediately a campaign that needs to be run immediately, then the campaign would start off. If it is scheduled, it'll show as scheduled, and it'll start running based on the time you've set for the schedule. So as you can see, the status is already complete, which means that we have set up the campaign and given off all the MSISDN number and the content to be played to our servers, which will then start making the calls and completing the campaign. Okay. Once this is done, what you can do is go to the reports. The reports are updated once every hour. So as in when the campaign completes, at the top of that next hour, the reports would be here. So in my case, the campaign that I run just now, the reports aren't here. But we could just go through the older report. So this is one previous campaign we had run. So you click on the report, you get an overall or a high-level overview of the campaign status. So this particular campaign had 1651 calls. Our system is intelligent enough to figure out if there were any duplicate MSISDNs, and then we remove those MSISDNs and will not make duplicate unnecessary calls to the user. It'll also show how many were filtered due to DND. In this particular case, there were none. So finally, the report below shows total OBDs that were executed, how many were listened to by the end user, how many were completed successfully but were not answered, how many were reachable, not reachable, or busy, or in certain cases the calls would fail for reasons unknown. Probably the network wasn't able to complete the call, the user was unavailable or was out of the network, or it could be any of the reasons, and we capture all of them under miscellaneous reasons. And now you could also have, we also provide the option of exporting all the reports and getting into details of the reports. So there's options like summary and detail, which will end up downloading a Excel file, the status, and how many attempts were made, what was the issue, errors that were there, and you can use it to know what exactly is happening with each of the numbers that you shared with. The last tab here is opt-out list. So it really is a way for you to add individual numbers to the blacklist, campaign specific blacklist. So if you have a list of users who do not want to receive messages from your campaign, then you can just upload a list of files and list of files and those will be blacklisted. Right, so this is the simple interface, allows you to run different kinds of campaigns, OBD campaigns, SMS campaigns, and surveys and polls as well. So I can show you a report for a survey campaign that we had run some time back. Yeah, so if you click on this, you would have the user input, how many users selected a particular option, in the survey, how many selected one, how many selected two, and so on and so forth. Right, so this kind of gives you a good idea of what kind of questions have people answered and how many have answered for which option and things like that. Now this is what the enterprise customer who can log in and set up his own campaign, view the reports, and manage the entire campaign end to end can do. The next option that I want to show you is if you are a carrier partner who have partnered with us for enterprise solutions, you get admin access to this particular Emissary portal. And as the admin, you will be able to create enterprise users and provide permissions to the enterprise user on what kind of campaigns can be set up and what options he can choose while setting up the campaign. So you log in. So let me just log in. And this particular screen is provided, like I said, only to our carrier partners so that they can assign enterprise users login name and password and permissions. So the important tab here is the admin tab. So you click on the admin tab and you have the option of creating a new account. Right, so account name, login ID, all the usual things. More importantly, this allows you to say what kind of channel do we want to allow the enterprise user. Right, so let's say if I'm creating an enterprise account name, Coke, right? Then I can say this particular enterprise user can run OBDs and SMS if OBD fails. Right, so in this case, if I don't provide the SMS if OBD fails, when Coke user logs in to the portal, he will not have the option of creating a campaign which sends out SMS. Recurring campaign, allowed or not allowed. So if you remember in the previous, when I was setting up the campaign, I did not have the option of creating recurring campaigns. I only had the option of running a campaign once, right? So that's again controlled by the admin per account. So in this case, if we allow, what are the sender masks that are allowed? Right, this again we can set up. 2510 was the sender mask in the previous example that I showed. You can add and remove sender mask for this particular account. What caller ID? Again, add and remove those caller IDs based on the numbers that have been assigned per account. And the enterprise user, or in this case Coke, can only use the caller ID and the sender mask entered here. He cannot use anything else. Now, what number of retries? How many retries should we provide? 1, 2, or more. How often should the OBD interval, as in, if I need to retry the OBD, how soon should I try the next OBD in case if one fails? And what is the user status? So once I provide all this information, the login ID and the password with all the permissions, you are set with the new enterprise user. So every time we have a new enterprise user who wants to run a campaign, we just need to set up the account for them, give the right permissions based on what is of interest to them and what is the pricing mechanism that we have agreed with them, and create the account and give out the username, password, and they should be able to come in, log in, and do everything themselves. So this particular screen at the admin permission is, like I said, is provided only to our carrier partners who have partnered with us for enterprise solutions. And as the admin, you get to see all the campaigns, all the reports for a particular user. In this case, there's no campaign set up for that user, but otherwise for every user you have set up, you get to see detailed report of all the campaigns that the user is running. This comes in handy, especially in cases of billing and payment processing and things like that. Some of the other things that we are working on, which will happen very soon, is to have the concept of credits, where the enterprise customer that you're creating the account for, you will set up prepaid credits once they make the payment, and for every call or the campaign that runs, the credit keeps getting deducted. So then it enables us to run prepaid and postpaid model of campaigns as well. So, but that's not there right now. We are working on getting it done at the earliest. So yeah, that kind of is what Konnect Emissary product is all about. And I hope you had a chance to understand the product and the features pretty well. We continue to work on adding more features, improving the reporting, improving the conversion rates of our calls. We continue to work on that, and you should see more and more updates to the product very soon. Okay, so that's all from my end. Thank you so much. Goodbye.